Morning, everybody. So, just having a look at the DAX. So, with the US having its little meltdown yesterday, the jury is out for me on the European markets because there really hasn't been as much follow through on these markets as what as the US has had. So, there's a few things that we just want to pay attention to. The first one is obviously the weekly Kijun-sen. Okay, so that's our red line. Let's just make it red so we know what we're talking about. Okay. And the second level, big level here is going to be the weekly Kijun-sen, and that's our blue line. Okay, so those are kind of the two levels that we're looking at. There's also a Brooks gap in here, ever so small. So this tail here. Okay, now if you're watching the Dow video, you'll notice that the range bars are things that I pay a lot of attention to. And you can see that this range bar here has broken to the upside, and we are kind of just hovering here. Okay, the top of the range is here, so we're coming to test the top of the range. This range bar's target is still further up there at 12,860. Okay, so let's just get down to, look at it on the 4 hour. There's the bottom of the range. The top of the range is here on this orange line, and you can see how we've broken up to the upside. We're sitting at 12,441. So you can see, I mean, the US had a massive meltdown, and the DAX really didn't. It was a substantial move, but still in positive territory. Okay, let's just go back to that weekly. So yeah, so this range bar here for me is still in play, and we basically right now we're testing the top of this range bar. I'd expect us to test to hold, and then a move to this area. So that's kind of what I'm expecting from the DAX. The part that is concerning me is the fact that we're not breaking above the weekly Kijun-sen. Okay, and we are still just running straight. We've also had a twist, which is a bearish twist. We've broken through here, which is bearish, and we've also got a bearish crossover here. So bearish, bearish, bearish. So we've got three bearish signals for a move to the downside. If we look at the daily, remember now yesterday I spoke about when we have the 100 and 200 coming together like this and just sitting next to each other, normally something's about to happen. So we did get a move to the downside. Okay, now the question is, are we going to reject the top of the cloud here and continue this move to the downside? Bearing in mind that on the daily we have a bullish crossover here. We've got a bullish twist, and we've got a bullish Chiku span, which has come through price here. Okay, so, and you can see how the daily Kijun-sen lines up with the weekly Kijun-sen. So this is going to be a pretty big area of resistance. Now this level that we're bouncing off here is a pretty strong level, as you can see now. You can see there's so much happening here. You've got the 100, the 200 moving average. You've got the weekly Kijun-sen. You've got the top of the daily flag. And you've got all these previous breakout levels which are holding. Okay. And you can see it lines up with that level there. And then we have more at play there. We used it as support back here. So this is a very big, important level that we have here. And the probability of us just breaking through this without any driver, for example, news or something like that, is extremely remote. So 9 times out of 10, well, actually 8 times out of 10, it'll hit this level and bounce back off because you only have a 20% success rate of breakouts actually carrying through. Okay, so let's just get down to the 4 hour and see what kind of play can we make here. So first things first, we have a double top here. Okay, and it's a double top off a big level. And we have broken below the swing low here, which basically means we can expect some more downside movement to happen. Which is going to bring us to the underside of this area here. Let's get rid of that. So this is the area that we can expect to target. So what are we talking about here? We're talking about a 179 point move at the moment. That's kind of the area we can expect to target. Now, there is something that you need to pay attention to, and that's to do with the price action in relation to the ichimoku. So at this stage, Dickinson and Kijinson are on top of each other, and they're flat, which indicates neutral. Okay, so there's no direction. Your buyers and sellers are quite happy with what's going on. So your short-term and your long-term momentum. So remember, Kijinson is your long-term or medium-term momentum, and Dickinson is your short-term momentum, because that's a short-term moving average. This is a long-term moving average. Of sorts. Okay, remember it's a calculation of a moving average. So when they're grouped together like this, then that's exactly what the market's looking for. They're quite happy with where price is, and they're happy with everything. So we'll need to see this pointing to the downside in order for us to trade it. If it's going to stay going sideways like this, you're going to expect more of this kind of action here, which has been frustrating over the last couple of days. Okay, we'd rather prefer to trade this kind of action here. Trade to the levels, get out, trade to the levels. But when we're moving sideways like this, not a pleasant way to trade anyway. Okay, and now you can see how the after hours move, we rolled over, played to the downside, but again, it's flat, and we are rolling with Dickinson at the moment. So, to me, this level broke and it's been retested there, but we are after hours at the moment. So, I'll be waiting for the open, just to watch what's going to happen with the open. I suspect this double top will play out, and we'll have another run to the downside. But it also depends on the strength of the euro. So the dollar is pretty strong at the moment. So if that continues, then you'll find that this will fizzle out and we'll just move back. And what's going to happen is we will form a much bigger range here. So this will be the bottom of the range, and that'll be the top of the range. And we'll just play around in this area while the US sorts itself out. So yes, I think for me, you're going to watch what happens. Yesterday, there were two trades yesterday. Maybe here. So you had the move to the upside to test the top of the cloud, and then you had the short from the top down. So those were the two trades, and if you'd had that short, you would have caught the US chaos as well. So for now, we have made a lower low. There's a previous low. This is a lower low, and we've moved back to test the break. So if this retest holds, so if this level here turns into resistance, then you can expect some more downside, and your downside target is going to be the range height. Okay, so look at this level. So then you're going to look at this level here. However, if this double bottom that's forming here holds, then you're going to be coming back to the pivot, you're going to be coming back to Kijinson and to the underside of the cloud. So kind of a difficult one, but to me, you probably get some tests of the cloud, which will probably end up being around, yeah, so you can see the Fibonacci expansion would be 61.8 and 50, which are the two areas I want to watch for, which is Kijinson on the hour and also the cloud. That's kind of that would be a great area to be short. Okay, so let's just put that in. So that would be a lovely area to be short, because what's happened here is that we've broken this level. Now it'll come back to test the 50% of the move, which will also be the 50%, pretty close to the 50% of the range. Now there's 50% of the range, which is those pin bars up there. So that would be a very interesting area to get in on. And if we just look at the 4 hour, you can see that we'd also have the 4 hour Kijinson and Tikinson at the moment. Let's just make that like a big purple, we can see that. Okay, so let's get back there. Yeah, okay, so you can see how that all lines up there. So I'd definitely take a short off this level. So if we bounce back into this area, I'll be looking for a short, and the short will be a continuation of this down move down to this 12 to 60 area. So that's what we're looking for in the DAX. Hope it helps, and I'll catch you later.